Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Sever7, and today we are taking a look at the Kunwu Padre. Now, that's with the ultimate goal of seeing if it's worth adding to your collection or your daily carry rotation. And this did come by friends of the channel, Wyvern Kodiak. Just two incredibly awesome dudes. I'm going to link their YouTube channel and their Instagram in the description below. They've got some really big stuff coming, so subscribe, follow them, and then just keep your eyes peeled. Really excited about what those guys are doing. Now, this was designed and OEM'd by Kunwu, and this knife has been out for a while. It's a known quantity. I'm sure everybody watching this has seen this somewhere in some review video or while like shopping online or something. So we're a little late to the game, but haven't had one in, so here we go. So for starters, we've got this beautiful diamond texture on the front and back scales. Really, really nice milling. They've given us a border where anywhere you would be, applying pressure when you're gripping the knife doesn't have that diamond texture, so it's all smoothed over. They give you plenty of room. That way you don't have those little pain points where you're gripping the knife hard and you're squeezing directly into diamond texture, because that would be miserable. We have a green lantern looking pivot with a beautiful Damascus pivot collar. That pivot collar and green lantern looking pivot are the same on the back side. We have all blacked out hardware, and we have a blacked out pocket clip. I don't believe there's any, no, there's not. So there's no flat surface underneath the clip, which means over time, eventually, you're gonna end up shredding your pants up a bit, because it's gonna be flat surface, a diamond, and the clip is pretty tight. Like, it's got really good retention. So yeah, I mean, it's not the end of the world, but just something to keep in mind. This looks interesting with the two very predominant screws and then the Kunwu logo here at the end. We've got the 1/3 backspacer. It does wrap all the way down to give you a spot for lanyards, but it's done in a way that I think is non-intrusive. It adds a little blacked out section down here, and it's a lot better than just having these two nubs, right? Could you imagine that if you took this away and it was just those two nubs? That'd be weird as all get out. So I'm pretty thankful for this backspacer and lanyard hole. So as far as the design goes, I mean, it's a super clean aesthetic. I love the reverse tucks. Yeah, I think it looks great overall. Let's go ahead and talk about the ergonomics. So we've got two finger grooves, and then we've got this like banana shape. So what's cool about this is this grip, or this rather design, is like a gunner grip, right? You kind of feel like you're holding a pistol. And what's cool about that, and we'll choke back, is this finger's locked in, but then you can see how this curves into my hand and down. So that gives me a lot of leverage to control the knife, right? Like, somebody couldn't pull this out of my hand. So not only is it better for, keeping it in your hand and not somebody else's, but also it gives you a ton of leverage for, cutting, opening, stuff like that. And then you have a second choke up spot. Well, I guess that would just be one choke up spot, but you can choke up again, and you're even more so locked in here. You still have the gunner grip, but now you have, two fingers and two grooves. And I don't know, just something about it feels really, really good. It feels like you could really put this thing to use. And I'm noticing there's no hot spots. I can feel the diamond texture and I can feel the clip. But because of the way this is shaped, like just the geometry of it, it makes me feel locked in without having to squeeze down super hard, right? Just the ergonomics of the handle make me feel locked in enough that I don't feel like I have to like really, really grip it. I can just hold it like normal, but still get all the effectiveness if I was squeezing it like super hard. So I can feel the clip, I can feel the diamond, but like I said, they're not hot spots. You know, even if I squeeze down on them pretty hard, I can feel them. They're just not bugging me. Now let's talk about this blade a little bit. Super wicked looking blade. It to me it kind of looks like a, I don't know, like a fat demon or something. But we've got what I believe to be a hollow grind, a high hollow grind. We're rocking a modified sheep's foot, or at least that's what I'm going to call it. This thing is a bit of a fingerprint magnet, but it is semi-mirror black DLC. And we have Vanax for the blade steel. That's going to have excellent corrosion resistance, and it's going to have edge durability. But yeah, overall, this thing looks smoking good. We don't have a ton of billboarding. We just have Padre, and then we have the Vanax right there. And the front is completely sterile. We don't have anything extra going on up front. Yeah, this is just the whole reverse tux with the semi-mirror or glossy DLC. This is just a really nice, handsome overall package. I really, really enjoy this. Let's talk about the action a little bit. Now, I will say this thing's bit me a couple of times. If you drop it too fast, then, well, if you're releasing it too high, I guess, because you can catch your nail, but you could also just as easily catch the skin right below the nail. So you want to be careful with that. But as far as the action goes, this thing flies out. Absolute rocket. It's got such a positive and snappy detent. This thing's definitely a fidget beast. The acoustics are phenomenal. And then I've got that way that I measure if a knife has good action, or not action, but like if it's too loose or too tight, right? Basically what I do is I drop the blade to the 6 o'clock, and then the handle's at the 3 o'clock, and then I'm just gonna rotate it to the 9 o'clock, and we see the blade didn't move. Now, the reason for that is this DLC coating. This DLC coating is not this, it's smooth, but it's kind of grippy. So what it does is it grips onto the detent ball. But with just a little encouragement, you can single shake shut it, or you can do that like quick little, I don't know what you would call it, like jostle. You can just kind of jostle it down. But I can say if it wasn't for the DLC, that this would have that super smooth hydraulic action. I mean, because it's so close to it, that DLC is the only thing holding it back. Yeah, see. Very good action. So to get some specs out of the way, we are sitting at 8.03 inches overall, 3.34 inches on the blade, and that gives us a blade to handle ratio of 0.71, which typically sucks, but with the way they have this shaped, it really doesn't bother me too much. I mean, you can see they had a little extra room. I kind of wish they would have done, instead of a lanyard hole, they would have done like the backspacer comes all the way around, but then it's the backspacer sticks out just past the scales. That way you can fit more blade into the handles without being worried about poking yourself. But that would have given them maybe 1/4 of an inch. Not the end of the world. I still think it has a very, very sexy profile, so I'm not too mad about the blade to handle ratio. And then as far as weight goes, this thing's coming in at 5.07 ounces. So it's hardy, right? It's a hefty boy. But relative to its size, you know, it's not super thick, and it never felt like, you know, it's in your pocket, but it never felt like cumbersome or like it was burdening me or anything like that. Like, it's there, you won't forget about it. But it was, size wise, it was fine sitting in the pocket. All right, let's do some size comparisons. First up, the milled aluminum Civivi Brazen, third best Civivi ever made, next to the Visions. And it looks like, let me straighten these out. There we go. So it looks like we're coming in, whenever I removed the length of the glass breaker because it's not functional length, it looks like we're coming in pretty spot on. Let's go ahead and do the real steel Sylph. And it looks like we're coming in maybe an inch and a half longer than the Sylph. And then for the budget knife of the year so far, that is the Migron Gotov. And it looks like we're coming in about, eyeballing it about 2 inches bigger than the Gotov. All right, so how much is this? Well, it was originally $359. I think it goes on sale, or is technically on sale all the time, for $319. And then if you get at places like White Mountain Knives, you can get an additional 10% off. So is this knife worth it for $319? I'm going to say for what you're getting, absolutely. Absolutely it is. Couple of reasons. One, and keep in mind, this is, made in China. It's not small batch. Like it's a smaller company, but they pump these knives out, to a reasonable amount. But a few things that are adding to that price, I was going to say inflating, but it's not inflating. Timascus. All right, anytime you add Timascus to a build, you're asking for a price increase, right? Because Timascus is not cheap. But also this DLC blade, this costs extra money too, but it looks super sick. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe DLC will, is it increase the corrosion resistance? Somebody in the comments help me out with that. But I know DLC has, outside of the aesthetic looking awesome, DLC has some positive effects. Or maybe it increases its HRC. No, it doesn't actually increase the HRC, but it gives it like a higher Rockwell hardness. Something like that. Somebody fix me. Somebody let me know what it is. But, so those two things are going to add to it. And overall, it's just, you have milled titanium, right? DLC, Timascus. Yeah, at $359, it would be fine, but I think that would be a little high. But I think if you pick this up for $320, I think it's an excellent value. Not only that, but just the raw functionality of it. Like this thing, as designy as it is, you can tell this thing was built as a tool first, right? Because of the ergonomics and the way the handle's shaped, because of the geometry of the blade, and the fact that it's Van-X, which is awesome. I like whenever companies like Spyderco and Kunwu, they bust out some crazy steels. A lot of companies play it safe with like VG10, 14C, 154CM, M390, right? Even MagnaCut's getting to be pretty dang popular. We see, almost every company in China slaps M390 on something, and then most companies in the US slap MagnaCut on it. So, it's cool to see some Van-X. And not, Van-X isn't super rare, but it's still just nice to see it. So, yeah, absolutely. At $320, this thing's a bombshell. It is a fantastic user, fantastic gents carry even, not in size, but in look with the reverse tucks. For me, this would be a user all day, every day. As a matter of fact, it feels like it would be a ton of fun to use. Like in hand, I'm just like, man, I really want to go cut something. I'll just go buy boxes to then cut them up. Like this thing feels like it will be a blast for, prolonged daily use. So yeah, I would say if you get this, absolute winner. But let me ask you, is this going to be something that you would add to your collection, or would it be a daily carry for you, or did it just miss the mark completely? And if you already have this, which I'm sure many of you do, let me know down in the comments, how do you like it? You know, is it as cool as I'm making it sound out to be? Because I think it's cool. Well, that's all I got for you today, guys. So if you found the content entertaining or enjoyable, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And until the next time, guys, peace.